So in the previous video, we put the girders in between the columns. We've now got that laid out. We want to come back now and place all of our beams in here. And so there's a variety of different approaches we could do that. One thing I want to remind you and make you aware of is that we do have that mezzanine set of beams. You can't see them in the 3D view because I've got them turned off. So I'm going to unhide, do an unhide here, and let's unhide. We'll select, right click, unhide element, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Unhide element, do the same thing here. And I could have selected these unhide elements like I'm going to do on these others. I'm just going to select one and then hold the control key down and see if I can't get the others. Here we go. And then unhide elements. And so then let's turn that off. And so these are beams and supports that I put in previously. We'll talk about those connections here in a minute. So we've got one beam right here that we've got spanning from here to here, but it's also being connected with another member here that's going to be taking load. So there's going to be load transferred from this beam to this, okay? Not probably so good because that means it's going to have a non-uniform load on it. And so therefore it's going to need to be a little bit bigger or whatever than maybe the other beams. But right now what we'll do is we'll just, once again, that's an engineering issue. That's not an architectural or a designer issue, interior. But we just want to kind of understand what might be going on here. So I'm going to, this is 34 feet. Okay. Once again, in Ching's book, if you look on page 4.16, it'll tell you that for beams, you need a 1 to 20 ratio. So if that's 34 feet times 12 inches, gives us 408 inches divided by 20. It means that our beam should be about 20 inches deep. Okay. So let's select that. And right now, this is only about 12 inches deep, which isn't going to work. Okay. So let's go in and we'll need to get us, we have a 24 here and a 27. So let's go in and let's go back and we'll go into insert, load a family, and steel, we're still in there from previously. And welded wide flange, open that up, and we said something around 20 inches. We've got 21. It was 24, so that's cool. So we'll go up to 21, and we don't need a lot of weight because we've got more depth than we need. So once again, we're just guesstimating here. I'm just going to take this smallest one, say okay. And then I'm going to select that beam that we already had here, and that's a 12, and make it a 21. Okay, so now it's a 21, and so let's put a whole series of beams in here and see what we can do. So this is going to be also a 21 right now. So I'm going to set that to 21. This one to a 21. Okay. And you'll see right here that they're crossing each other. We'll come back and clean that up later. So this is 21 going into a 30. I think that's right. Was that a 30? Oh, 21 going into a 27. Okay, we didn't choose a 30, we chose 27. Oh, heavier weight 27. Okay. So they're going to be at the same height. If we look at, let's go back to our west elevation. Okay. If we look, we're going to make them flush so that they go into each other, and the tops are flush to each other. If we were doing joists, that wouldn't be the case, but with beams like this, we can do that, and then we can notch these in. So we're going to make them flush into the webbing, and then we're going to, well, let's copy it, because we've got one here that we've already created. So let's go into our second level again, and we're just going to copy that over. What I did to get these, since we already have them, we could follow them, but I'll show you what I did to get those. I guesstimated on this distance, once again, probably 8 feet apart, I think is what I eventually came with, okay, around 8 feet. And so we needed 1, 2, 3. So we need 3 more beams. So what I'm going to do is just copy this. And there's a variety of different ways to do this. This is not the only way. You know, it may not even be the quickest way, but it definitely is a way. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making all kind of mistakes here. Okay. First of all, this is an atrium, so there are no beams. It's going to end right here. Where that beam's going to be next is actually here in a row of beams right there. So we're going to frame around this, and I'll come back and frame around this. Okay, so I'm just going to accept this one. I'm going to grab that one, and let's just copy it. That's the easiest way to do that. So let's go in there and copy, or I could just draw it. Let's just draw it. So we'll select this. I'm going to go create a similar, right? Draw by a line. This is going to be the center line. I'm going to snap to here, snap to there, and now I have my beam there. I'll just go ahead and finish out here. So just keep going. Level 2 offset. I forgot to check my levels. See, reference level. It's now down there on street level. That's not going to do it all. I'm going to save my project. And then, so let's select that. Well, no, it says reference level is level 2. And work planes level 2. And Z offsets -6. So that says it's right. Okay. So that's what we want. So that's in the right location. And once again, we can verify over here in the 3D. It looks very close there. So once again, I'm going to go back. I guess I read that wrong. We'll go back into beams. 21 -6 reference level. Oh, it's going to allow me to change it if I want to. Placement plane is level 2 with -6 inches automatic. That looks good. And so let's just bam, bam. And then the question is should these beams be that big? No, they should probably be around 12s. So I'm going to go in here and select the 12 here. And I'm going to go from here to here with a 12. Okay, once again, I need to check and make sure -6. Okay, that all works. Same thing. This may need to be thicker right there and thicker right there. So I'm just going to come in here and go, let's do an 18 since I've got that in there. It's a pretty short span right there. And then we're going to go from come on, 18 right there. Okay. Now you'll see in a couple of places here, the beams they're not going all the way to the flange here, and they should. Okay. And to modify that or to change that, we click on modify, we select the beam, And then we use what is called the join tool. You can kind of see a little image right here. Move it so it joins to the webbing there. And I'm going to select that. Select the join tool. And then you can see right now, this is the boundary box that's been joined to, which works fine for the girders here on the flanges, but it doesn't work so well here. So I'm going to select this webbing, and then it's going to adjust it. And I'm going to select, do the same thing here, change there. Okay, so I can come back and do these. You know, just do the ones at the trusses. I don't want you to spend all your time, you know, doing this and cleaning this up for me. Once you've done it, you know, 4, 5, 6 times, you pretty much have it down. You know what to do. It's just a matter of now just detail work. Okay, but go ahead and clean these up. The outside beams that are connecting to the columns, and then we won't worry about the others. Beams join to the center there. Okay, so those are kind of cleaned up. If we look right here, if we zoom in, you can see now it's sliding in there like it should into the webbing. Let's see here. We need a beam over here that's connecting there to there. We need the beam over here, and we need another beam right here. So let's put a beam in here. And once again, we're going to make that a 21, like the others. And we're going to do the same thing. Oh, same thing here. Oh. And I hit the escape key to get out of that beam. It leaves you in the beam so that you can adjust, make adjustments if you want to. You know, lock it. We probably should have been locking this to the grid lines so that if we move the grid lines, the beams would move, but you know, I didn't. So modify, join. You can either, you know, move it around till you find what you want or hit the tab key. I'm going to do another join. Do another join here. And once again, just do these beams to the outside here. And don't worry about all the interior beams. Unless you just want to clean your model up. Okay, so we got that, and that. The only ones left are these right here. So let's get those while I'm at it. Select and change. Tab to the center. Select. Change reference. Tab to the center. Select. Change. Tab to the center. Okay, so now we've got all of our initial primary beams in. We've got our frames going here, and what we need is now our beams that are running joist-wise in here. Like I said before, this is the atrium. This is open all the way to the top, so this is not going to be having beams in it, but these will right here. And the way I approach that, you know, when I firstly did this, I said, well, you know, I looked up now and I know, you know, somewhere between, you know, 8 to up to 12 feet apart, these should be. So it worked out pretty good that these are right around 8, somewhere right in that range. So I just went ahead and, you know, 8 into, what was it, 36. 36 divided by 8. Okay, 4.5. So I'm going to put 4 in each one of these. So let's go back here. Fortunately, I've already got these at the right height, so I can just copy them over. So I'm going to just do a copy, modify, copy. I'm going to multiple copy, so I'll make sure this is checked. And then I'm just going to do one. Notice I'm not concerned about dimensions. 3, 4. And here's why. I'll show you why. Because what I'm going to do, I want these equally spaced across this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll try this, and then if it doesn't work. Okay, so I want it from the center line of this to the middle of the webbing there, to the middle of the webbing there, to the middle of the webbing there. And here I'm just doing a simple aligned dimension. And one of the neat functions, if I put it in dimensions here and I click on the equal here and make them all equal, then they're all equal. And if I undo the equal, then it'll tell me they're 7 feet. Well, I've got one more beam than I really need. So I'm just going to delete one of them. Okay, and of course it deleted the dimension there. And do the same thing again. I'm going to equal it, and it's just going to move it all out, make it equal. And so this is 8'10". You know that'll work. The same thing we can do over here. So I'm just gonna go offline and finish this. There's no sense recording it. Okay, so I went offline and I finished it. I added beams here. Something I'll just point out to you. I added first copied this beam over and lined it up with this column so that there would be some general support for that column coming through this girder and this beam. That left 14 feet here. Little too far to span that with decking. So I just went ahead and put a beam in here, even though the distance between them is only 7 feet. We might be able to downsize this. Once again, these are decisions that the structural engineer should be working out with you and with your constructor, your contractor. Same thing here. I could have put 1 in here. That dimension there was, what was it? Yeah, 21 feet. So the span would have been for the decking would have been, oh, come on. Okay, would have been what, 10 foot 6 inches. So 1 in here, 10 foot 6 inches, probably, but I had to change the depth of it for this and this, and so now I have 2 different depths of decking and flooring, and that's not going to work. So it's best just to, sometimes you just oversize things, overdo it so that you can keep consistency within the building materials. So everything would be, so this whole deck would be 6 inches. This video is running a little longer than the others. You'll notice I put these in here. This should probably span from here to here, and actually we could run decking in this direction, the same decking I ran earlier in this direction, but we need these outriggers there to keep that from twisting, since it's a cantilever. It's kind of a cantilever, a little bit of a cantilever, not completely 100% cantilever. So I'm okay with that. Once again, we could use decking here without expanding, but once again, the structural engineer is going to be concerned about, once again, the moment on this beam right here, and probably want to put some members in here. So I'm just going to throw those in real quick. I'm going to modify. Let's use these. I think these were 12s. I'm going to select one, create similar, and then I'm just going to go bam. Try to hit the centers here. Probably need to zoom in a little bit. And that looks like plenty for me. And then I'm going to modify this. I'll put in some dimensions from centers to centers to centers. It should. Okay, and I can equal that and unequal it. 7 feet, that's good. That's going to be a good decking dimension. So we could run the decking this way if we want, but it'll also, once again, tie this back to a beam that's going to columns. It'll just be structurally a little bit more sound. And so that finishes the first floor. In the next video, we're going to show you how to get the decking in on the whole structure.